Well, the Iron Man of the game is brought to you by the Pittsburgh Brewing Company, and Peter Bundra has notched those honors here tonight as he picked up a pair of goals. And the opening one in the second period and added a big insurance goal late in the third. Iafrate had set him up, and Peter Bundra, who scores his first 2 playoff goals ever in the National Hockey League, leading the way for the Capitals and their 3-1 victory.
And the Penguins lose their 5th straight. First game of a playoff series. This is accustomed to that, losing that first game. Peter Bondra with a couple of goals in this game. Don Beaupre stopped 32 of 33 shots. He was particularly tough in the first period when the Penguins had their best scoring opportunities. Even though the Penguins outshot the Capitals 18-10 in that second period, I think their best scoring chances came in the first. When they were outshot 9-8, they were outshot 12-7 in the third. Capitals really took control in the third period. And the Penguins outshoot them 33-31, but lose the hockey game 3-1.
Montreal leads Hartford 2-0 that game in the third period at Montreal. Gilbert Dion has both goals with 4 minutes left in that game. And the Rangers were leading 1-0 in their contest. And the Bruins were trailing 3-1 in the third against Buffalo, the last scores that we had. The 3 stars here tonight. The number 3 star went to John Druce of the Caps. The number 2 star to Peter Bundra of the Capitals. And the number 1 star in tonight's game went to Don Beaupre of the Washington Capitals, their goaltender. Coming up on Tuesday, the Capitals in Game 1 take the lead against the Penguins. Washington 3 and Pittsburgh 1. So the Capitals lead the series 1-0. Now for Paul Steigerwald, this is Mike Lang saying so long. And this is the Penguins. Just did not quite have enough tonight as the Capitals ended up winning. But Barrasso certainly a big save on Paul McDermott in that third period to keep the Penguins in it. And an opportunity to get back as he stopped the right winger of the Capitals from no more than 10 to 15 feet away in a big save. That's our save of the game, brought to you by Long John Silver. And one of which was dished out by Ulf Samuelsson, the Penguin defenseman, nailing Alan May into the boards as he rocketed him into the wood. And there were a lot of checks thrown on both sides of the fence here tonight in this one in game number 1. Don't forget, Stan Savern's hockey.
Their newly established playoff tradition, the Penguins once again lose Game 1 of a Stanley Cup playoff series. Despite the fact the wrong team won, this was a great hockey game tonight. Well played by both teams. I thought the Penguins guy outplayed Washington in the first 2 periods, but giving credit where credit is due, the Capitals outplayed them in the third period, although it's not to say that the Penguins played poorly tonight. They did not. Sometimes you have to give credit to your opponent. They played well.
No, the Washington defense, like a vice, tightened up in the third period. As soon as they'd get across the blue line, there was nowhere to go. I think they should have shot a little bit more as soon as they got inside. The one time you do like to see the dump is whenever you're having problems getting any open ice in the zone. They had a lot of open ice, particularly in the second period when they had 18 shots on goal. Third period, though, they really, after the penalty to Paul McDermott, really didn't show a whole lot on offense. The perfect example, about 5 minutes left, a 2-on-1 break with the 2 checks, Radina and Yager, and they don't even get a shot off. But for the most part, I agree with you. I didn't think they played that badly, considering Mario Lemieux didn't play in the game. Interestingly enough, the only game that Mario missed last year in the playoffs, they lost by the same 3-1 score, that being Game 3 against Minnesota. So all in all, I don't think they played badly. Barrasso had an excellent game. Can't really fault him on any of the goals. Defensively, they played really well, especially early in the game. Offensively, they needed a little bit of a push, and what do you expect when Lemieux's not in there? And the lucky tie didn't help. I mean, the last time I wore this, it got chased off, but they beat the Canadians that night, so I brought it back. And it is Easter, and don't look at it like that.
Save it for the 7th game of a series. Hopefully
we may not reach one.
4th series. I know. That's
why I had to wear it tonight.
Yeah, get it out of the way. It's good to get it out of the way. Like Game 1, opening game jitters, we got the tie out of the way. The Washington Capitals clogged passing lanes excellently. It wasn't so much the body taking and that sort of thing, is that when the Penguins did gain the blue line, the Capitals' defense and their forwards clogged the passing lanes beautifully, not allowing the Penguins to complete their passing plays. That was the big difference. And we talk about Mario not being in the lineup. This year, the Pens have been without him 17 games. They are now 5-10-2. That's not so horrible. But I think more indicative, guys, the fact that in the games without Mario, they have averaged only 2.9 goals per game, whereas normally they average 4.3. So that's a 1.5 per game. Mario averages 2 points per game, and it shows up.
Yeah, I thought maybe 5-10-2 isn't so horrible unless you're talking about playoff hockey, which will have you ousted every time. The thing is, the Penguins, even with Mario, are down about an average goal per game against this Washington Capitol team. This is a team that's been able to bottle them up during the season with or without Mario. And in playoff hockey, and 3-1 now, the final score in 3 of the first 5 finals that we have in. So you're going to see lower scoring games. And I don't think you can rely or count on the Penguins averaging 4.5 goals a game in the playoffs.
Undoubtedly, and this was the kind of playoff hockey you see all throughout the league, as Guy points out. Even with the 2 highest scoring teams in the NHL, the Penguins and Capitals, only 4 goals, and the 4th goal, a late one. One more item before we go to the phone break and then the phone callers. Let's give credit to Don Beaupre, because the first 2 periods he had to stop 27 shots and a lot of quality opportunities for the Penguins. Let's give Beaupre credit. He did an excellent job keeping the Capitals in the hockey game until they took over and took control in the 3rd.
He did, which we've pointed out before, though, commit one of the sins that he has been guilty of in the past. The Troy Loney goal, after they went up and had the Cap Center, which was not sold out, by the way, and there were a lot of Penguin fans in Landover, Maryland tonight. You can hear them at various points. 38 seconds after the arena is exploding, he gave up a soft goal to Troy Loney that I thought, luckily, though he played for the Capitals, played well enough the rest of the night that it didn't hurt them. But that kind of goal can turn a game around in a hurry. Tonight, that didn't happen.
A lot of quality opportunities for the Penguins. Don Beaupre was bigger than the Penguins' offense. 333-4018, outside of Pittsburgh, 1-800-BEAT-KBL. We'd like to talk to you about tonight's game in the playoffs. We'll do that in just a moment.
These are the machines of the 90s.
Fuel injection, overhead cams, polyvalve.
Today's high-tech engines demand high-tech protection. Kendall Motor Oil is specifically designed to provide the ultimate protection against heat and wear under the most extreme conditions. Don't take a chance with your high-tech engine. Use Kendall Motor Oil, formulated to protect your high-tech engine. Kendall Motor Oil, pour in the protection. Kendall, available at these locations.
Hi, I'm Troy Loney. Fan loyalty played a major role in the Pittsburgh Penguins winning the Stanley Cup Championship. This same kind of loyalty is why Carriage Limousine Service is the #1 transportation company in Pittsburgh. Carriage Limousine is dedicated to detail and is obsessed with customer service and customer satisfaction. Being #1 requires the constant pursuit of excellence. Ride with the winner. Carriage Limousine, 488-7000.
Welcome back to Hockey Hotline. Before we go off the air tonight, we will have an update on all the Wales Conference playoff games being played tonight, including the Devil Ranger game, which started a half hour later than the Penguin game. Let's go to the phones. Mike from Scott Township, you're first up, Mike.
How you doing, Stan and Guy?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just got a couple points to make. I was a little disappointed in Stevens and Tocchet tonight. I didn't think they played all that well.
Good point. We said the same thing to one another. Not that they played all that poorly, but again, someone has to step up, and you don't expect it to be Troy Loney to get the goal. Not that you don't welcome that kind of thing. I agree. I agree with you.
The spark seemed to come from, I don't know if you agree, Mike, from especially after Phil Bourque got tossed out of the game, but he put that line together with Yager, Hrdina, and Erie, and that's where they stepped up, but they didn't have anything to show for it in the score table, but they created a lot of excitement.
Those three played exceptionally well individually and collectively as one line.
Right, in a physical series, those two guys got to step up to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Brassa played very well tonight. Excellent play by him.
Yes, I agree.
And where's Jim Pack? Is he scratched?
Again. Obviously, I don't know if I would necessarily call it Bowman's doghouse, but obviously Jim Pack is not part of his plans right now, barring further injury. And Paul Stanton, who was occupying that space in the doghouse earlier on in the year, obviously now is going to be a regular player.
Yep. And Stan,
Yes, sir.
Take out that tie, guys, and burn it, please.
Oh, okay. I don't think it'll burn. It's kind of like asbestos, and it'll make you sick. Just being this close.
I'm wearing it every playoff game.
This is like radon. I'm getting disease because I take pride in my ties.
tie. Come on.
Mike, I'll buy you a cold one of these days for making that comment. And guy asked me, I was going to wear my hockey tie. I have a tie that's just all kinds of hockey stuff, but I'm saving it to a point where the Penguins really need it. I'm just not going to do it frivolously or willy-nilly. When things are really tough, if there's a game 6 and they're down 3-2, that's when I'll wear it. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to Kirk from Mount Lebanon. Kirk, you're up next. Hey.
How you doing, Stan?
Good, thanks.
Hey, Stan, did you do those graphics yourself behind you?
These behind me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Guy and I, we split the cost of a box of crayons and we put it together.
That's a good-looking penguin. Hey, listen, Stan, I got just one question about, during the game they really didn't explain. We got to the game late, so they didn't explain about Lemieux. What was wrong with him that he's not playing tonight?
The bad shoulder is now a slightly separated shoulder. It's much worse than they thought. Originally, it was diagnosed as a bruise, or I should say the media and thus the fans were told it was a bruise, but it's a slight separation. Mario did skate in practice this morning at the pregame skate, and he had trouble shooting and passing, and so they really hope he'll be ready for Game 2 Tuesday in Washington. They hope the extra 48 hours will get him ready, but it is a slight separation.
How about, what about Tuesday night? Are they sure he's going to play Tuesday night?
They're not sure, but they're hopeful.
He was interviewed between periods of the game and said he wants to, but we heard that all week about tonight's game, so whether he really is hoping that it gets better or they're just trying not to, whether we're getting a snow job from the Penguins or not, I'm not sure.
Hey, Guy, listen, I can't see real well right now, but I like the tie anyways.
All right, 1-1. 1-1 for the tie.
We have your phone number and address. We'll be sending a panel truck out to visit you.
He likes the graphics. He likes the tie. He has good taste.
Well, I suppose 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Let's move on to Ron from McKees Rocks. Hey, Ron.
Good evening, guys.
How are you?
Okay, Stan, first of all, we got to get rid of that tie. Sorry, Guy. I mean, that's it. The tie's got to go. I'm blind. I can't see now. Now, listen, I got a question here. What did you, give me an honest opinion, what did you think of Kerry Frazier's refereeing tonight?
If a guy, if a guy is going to officiate a game, I would rather see him officiate on the side that Frazier did. He let a lot of things go that could have been called. I would rather see that than see a guy call something every 2 seconds. There were obviously penalties that could have been called, but he didn't. And, I mean, I was getting a little annoyed because the Penguins did not get a power play until midway through the third period. However, when they did, he slapped McDermott with, 2 minors and had a 4-minute power play. I did not find Guy his refereeing all that objectionable tonight, and I don't like the guy. Number one, I've researched it. Believe me, when he referees, the Penguins' record is way below 500. Plus, the guy uses mousse on his hair, and he's wearing a helmet now, so you can't see it. But I can't criticize his officiating today.
Let the guys play. In a playoff game, particularly, the checking is going to be a little more close. Referees get into more trouble when they try to call every single thing that happens because you can't and you miss a lot of things. The only real blatant miss, and I think he almost paid McDermott back for it, McDermott elbowed Shell Samuelson in the second period. Blatant elbow along the boards wasn't called. Giving him, I mean, in a one-goal game, I don't think Penguin fans can be too upset at getting a double minor to McDermott in the third period. That took a lot of guts to call that.
But in the first period there, when he didn't catch Phil Bork, when he hit Cicerelli up high with the stick.
No, but the linesman correctly made the call. Linesmen are allowed to make those kinds of calls. I couldn't argue with that.
No, I can understand that, but when he come over though, and he started barking at barking at Frazier, Cicerelli, now I thought he was going to get more than 2 minutes there. With I don't know. We'll see what happens on Tuesday night. But
I think the important thing, Ron, to mention here is that despite the fact he let some things go, the game never got out of hand. I mean, we had the brawl with 31 seconds, but that's a message sender for game number 2.
When a game is out of hand.
Right, but the game never really got out of hand, even though he let him play loosely. And I thought it was a very well-played hockey game. No cheap shots, except for Cicerelli. He's like a little gnat, zipping around.
Right.
But I have no complaints.
No, first and third periods were excellent.
I still take the Penguins in 6 of this series.
I hope you're right, Ron.
I have to disagree with you and Guy.
Okay, well,
we hope we're wrong.
Believe me, we hope we're wrong. I'll tell you what I'll do. If I'm wrong about this series, both of us having picked the Capitals,
you'll wear this tie.
I will wear that tie. In the first game we televised in the second series against either the Devils or the Rangers, I will wear that tie. It'll break my heart, but for a Penguin win in this series, I will wear that tie. Thanks, Ryan. Let's move on to the phone lines. The numbers to call, by the way, in case you joined us late. The Penguins lose to the Capitals in Game 1 tonight, 3-1. 333-4018. Outside of Pittsburgh, 1-800-BEAT-KBL. Barry from Emlenton. Hi.
Hi, Stan. First of all, I'd like to say Happy Easter to both of you guys.
Happy Easter to you and all our viewers.
And I like this show a lot, and I also like talking Bucks.
Thank you. By the way, can I get a cheap plug in here, Barry? The Pirates and KBL. No, not about the column. I haven't written that yet. But although I like yesterday's column, guy, tomorrow the KBL's televising the Pirate Expo game, 125 airtime, and you want to catch the Buccos, who are red hot 6 in a row. I'm sorry, Barry. Go ahead.
That's all right. And Guy, I was just wondering when you're going to get your own show, and I like your tie too.
Oh, good. We're evened up on the tie. I don't know when I'll get my own show. That's why he doesn't have his own show, because he wore that tie. When Stan goes on vacation, I get my own show.
All right. And first, like a comment I have, I agree with you guys. It was an okay game, but I have to disagree with you guys on, let's say, Penguins in 7.
Okay. Well, again, we hope you're right, and if we do, the first game that KBL televises, I'll be wearing that tie. Thanks for calling, Barry. The numbers to call: 333-4018, 1-800-BEAT-KBL. We'll be back.
All red sweaters flying.
Lemieux, Stastny, and Seeger are up front. Driver and Kasatonov are the defensemen out for Tom McBee. Roger Nielsen has mixed up his lines to get Turcotte. Erickson on the left wing is a very good defensive player, and Paul Broughton up front with Hardy and Patrick, the defenseman. Timeout's over and play's underway, and Turcotte won the draw. Patrick dumps the puck in. Terrera out to play it for Kasatonov. Minute to go in the third. 2-1 Rangers. Terrera starts towards the bench as the puck comes to center. Claude Lemieux dumps it in. Didn't get it far in over the blue line, so Terrera can't get out of the goal. Time working against the Devils as they try and get their goalie out here. Now Bruce Driver leads the rush. Terrera's following behind him, trying to get out of the goal. Still, he can't leave. The Rangers are doing a great job. They cut off another pass. Broughton dumps it in. Half a minute to go in the first game between these teams in the playoffs. At least the third period of it. Now Terrera's out for the extra attacker. In over the blue line is Driver. The pass to Stevens. Didn't get much of a shot away in front. Rangers can't clear it. Loose puck. Van Beesbrook trying to cover up, and the net's off. And Terrera's on the bench. He just flew over the boards as Stevens came onto the ice. Frantic action, though, in front of the net. 10.9 seconds left in the third.
Well, good timing, because Erickson, Turcotte, and Broughton also, I think, were out of steam. The Rangers needed a change. See Lemieux hammering away, trying to get that puck loose from underneath of Van Beesbrook.
Stevens fanned on the shot. Still in this mad scramble in front. Van Beesbrook got on top of it. One of his mates may have been on top of the puck in the crease, too. Stevens stays out. The net stays empty. 6 Devils inside the blue line for the faceoff. Stevens will stay up front to go to the net.
And Messier will go against Stastny.
Second instructions from McBee to his captain, Bruce Driver. And he'll relay them. To Seeger and Stastny and Claude Lemieux. Here we go, Stastny and Messier. Devils get the draw. Driver shoots. Van Beesbrook the save, and he holds on. Down to 5.7 seconds left, and time for another draw. And another good opportunity, if they can win it.
I think Messier tried to lift Stastny's stick up right off of that draw. Tried to tie his stick up. Didn't work. Stastny was able to get that puck back to Richer.
Richer and Driver are the shooters playing the point. Van Beesbrook covered up.
Stastny won the draw. There's the shot into the seats. 2.3 seconds to go in the third.
And the Rangers continue to have problems winning faceoffs in their own zone.
Claude Lemieux just came over to the timekeeper's bench and is steamed that they didn't stop the clock quick enough this time, and they didn't. And the Devils are arguing that they have time owing. Claude Lemieux screaming at the timekeeper.
Well, it's not as though they're timekeepers from New York.
The off-ice officials are from Philadelphia. Well, Bill McCreary's over with the timekeeper now. They're going to put more time on. The faceoff should be inside the blue line because I think the puck went off a Ranger after it was hit by Driver. There's a big help. They added 0.3 of a second.
Well, now all Messier does have to do with this short of time left is just tie Stastny up.
Tough place to create a scoring chance from off a draw. That'll do it. Rangers are up 1-0. They win this game 2-1.
The Devils gained a lot of respect tonight for the way that they played the New York Rangers.
A wild finish at Madison Square Garden in New York. The first ever meeting between the Rangers and Devils. The Rangers win Game 1 by a score of 2-1. We'll wrap up the evening and much, much more after this timeout on Sport. Bruised right shoulder. His status is day to day. At the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland, we take a look at the action early in the game. Troy Loney says hello to Don Beaupre, and Beaupre is not happy to see him. Second period, Peter Bondra is happy. Watch this gorgeous move on the breakaway. Bondra with the goal. 1-0 Capitals. But just 38 seconds later, Troy Loney ties it up. He beats Tom Barrasso 1-1 after 2 periods of play. Gorgeous shot there. Then Beaupre gets hot. First he stops Joey Mullen, and then he stops Ronnie Francis, and then there's a goal by Bondra as they were able to score it. Here comes the save on Mullen, and then another save comes up on Ronnie Francis. Caps go on to win it. No matter how you slice it and dice it, a victory for the Washington Capitals. Don Beaupre, 32 saves. Washington 0 for 3 on the power play. Tom Barrasso had 28 saves in a losing effort. At Madison Square Garden, who would start? Mike Richter? No, that man, Johnny Van Beesbrook. And he gives his teammates a lift early on. 2 minutes in, then it's Darren Turcotte for the Rangers, beating Chris Terreri. 1-0 Rangers in front. They threw 17 shots at Terreri in the first period. Second period, Randy McKay's shot trickles by Van Beesbrook, but he sweeps it out of the crease. Gorgeous recovery there by VBK. 1 goal turns into another. Chris King with the deflection off the goal line, and the Rangers with a 1-0 lead. Then they come back down in the second period. Mike Gartner with the goal from around the net. Third period, Gartner comes out and puts it in. Rangers went up 2-0, but then the New Jersey Devils came back, got a goal late in the third period, Zdeno Seeger, but the Rangers hold on as the Devils fire shot after shot on Van Beesbrook in the waning minutes of the game, but the Rangers hold on for the victory. Well, the Buffalo Sabres have not won a playoff series since 1983. They have lost their last seven series. Tonight they were at the Boston Garden taking on the Bruins. We pick up the action in this one. Second period, 1-0 Buffalo. Boston Steve Leach with the shot. Looks like a goal, right? No, penalty on Dave Poulin. You wave off the goal, put Buffalo on the power play, and there's the goal. Pat LaFontaine picks up the garbage in front. Big swing in the game right there, made it 2-0 Sabres. Third period now 3-0 Sabres. Adam Oates' shot from the point deflected by Vladimir Ruziska. A power play goal, 3-1 Sabres in front. Late in regulation, Tom Draper stood tall in the Buffalo net. First, he stops Ruziska on the breakaway. A gorgeous poke check there. Then in the closing seconds, he'll dodge a couple of bullets. Steve Leach has a chance right here, but whiff, no good. Buffalo hangs on for a 3-2 victory. Give Draper some fluids. Buffalo wins game 1 of this best-of-7 series. Buffalo 2 of 4 on the power play. Draper with 36 saves. At the Forum in Montreal, last year Frank Pietrangelo was with Pittsburgh, now he's with Hartford. And right away, early on, he was tested. Gilbert Dion, Marcel's brother, with a wraparound power play goal, 1-0, Montreal after 1. And Patrick Roy steps up. First he stops Steve Conroy, and it's Bobby Hollett with the glove. Just Roy everywhere. Dion adds some insurance, though, later on. And you see Patrick Roy just everywhere, coming up with a big save. Dion on the feed from Savard. There's the goal. Canadians win the game. The final is 2-0. In this game, Patrick Roy, 32 saves. Hartford 0 for 4 on the power play. They get goals in the first and in the third period as Montreal takes the lead in this series 1-0. Well, lots of action, fast and furious, lots of goals last night and tonight as well. And it's time to take a look at the playoff scoring leaders. It's brought to you by Air Canada. That man, Gilbert Dion, he has 2 goals for 2 points. You see it's kind of bunched up right now. Peter Bondra of Washington with a pair of goals in the first game. There's the man, Noonan of Chicago. He has 2 goals. Fedorov and Glynn also with a pair each. 15 others with 2 points. That thing will thin out as they move along. Well, as is the case with the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's back to the Campbell Conference tomorrow evening. And let's take a look at some of the storylines we will be following as action returns. The North Stars, well, they got the big win in game number 1. Can they keep it going? How about the Canucks? They try to huddle up and bounce back after their loss to Winnipeg. And the Kings, what a woeful power play last night. 0 for 9 against the Edmonton Oilers. In fact, last night's 4 losers were a combined 0 for 26 on the power play, while the winners were 7 and 21. And tomorrow night, we have a double dip for you here on Sports Channel America. And for our entire crew, so long, and we'll see you again tomorrow night for more of the night.
Checked by McDermott. They try to move it in front. Lemieux on the backhand. He scores! Delios, and out comes Richer, 2-on-1. Richer shoots, he scores! Stephane Richer. Wetmore races for the puck. Can't get it by Corneli. Shoots, he scores!
In 4 previous playoff meetings, Hartford has failed to get by the Canadiens, but 1992 could be different. The Whalers have played the Habs Cup all season long, winning 2 games, including 1 here back in October, and tying 3 others. Montreal coach Pat Burns would like to have his team peaking right about now, but the Canadiens come into tonight's game suffering through an 8-game winless streak. However, with Patrick Roy between the pipes for Montreal, head coach Jimmy Roberts knows his club will have to play stingy defensive hockey to stay with the Canadiens. So stay with us as the 1992 Stanley Cup playoffs get underway when the Hartford Whalers take on the Montreal Canadiens in Game 1 of the Adams Division semifinals next on Sports Channel. From the Forum in Montreal, Sports Channel presents tonight's Adams Division semifinal series between the Hartford Whalers and the Montreal Canadiens. Good evening, everyone. Rick Peckham and Jerry Cheevers. Glad you're with us for the start of this best-of-7 series between the Whalers and Canadiens. In the regular season, Montreal won the division championship with 93 points, 28 points better than the Whalers, who struggled to finish 4th at 65 points on the season. But, Jerry, despite the fact that there is that 28-point difference, Montreal comes into the playoffs winless in 8. The Whalers have been playing pretty well down the stretch before and after the strike.
Well, we'll see how important momentum is. It seems the Whalers have a big edge in momentum. You know, since the strike, I know it was only 3 games, but their special teams, for example, have been sensational. Their power play red hot, and they've been doing a great job in killing penalties. The Canadiens winless in 8 games, Rick, and it got to be such a concern around here. Pat Burns and company packed this team off, took them 50 miles up in the mountain somewhere, and they haven't seen the city since this morning for their skate, so they really mean business.
Let's look at a little history between these teams. teams in the playoffs. The Whalers and Canadiens are meeting for the 5th time, and the Whalers have yet to win a series from Montreal.
Well, a couple of them have been close, Rick, but I don't care how they matched up with the Canadiens. I'm going to look back at the last 2 series with the Boston Bruins. They played winning hockey in those 2 series. I think that they know what it's all about now, and they'll be a big threat in this series.
Jerry, in the regular season, obviously the difference in the overall